Knicks fans, buckle up. A major decision has just been made, and it could reshape everything we thought we knew about this roster. The front office has drawn the line, and Russell Westbrook is officially out of the picture. But why? What's the real reason behind this move? And what does it mean for the next veteran to join this team? From shocking updates on Ben Simmons to a surprising name that could be a steal off the bench, this video breaks down all the insider info you haven't heard yet. You're going to want to stick around until the very end, because what's happening behind the scenes might just be the biggest Knicks twist of the offseason. The New York Knicks have been actively exploring the free agent market, prompting fans to ask a pressing question: will Russell Westbrook be the next addition? That question has finally been answered. After weeks of speculation, the Knicks have made it clear where they stand on bringing in the veteran point guard. Today we're breaking down the latest development and what they mean moving forward. Throughout free agency, names like Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Malcolm Brogdon, and Marcus Smart have all been floated as potential options for the Knicks. But no name stirred more debate than Westbrook. According to reports from NBA insider Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, the Knicks are no longer considering Westbrook a target. He was initially linked to both New York and Sacramento early in the offseason, but with the Knicks opting to sign Jordan Clarkson instead, they've effectively closed the door on the former MVP. The Kings, now the only remaining team with reported interest, recently brought in Dennis Schroeder, likely eliminating themselves from the running as well. Westbrook's talent isn't the question here. He's still one of the most accomplished point guards in NBA history, and arguably one of the most capable options still unsigned. But there are several reasons why this fit doesn't work for New York. First, the salary. While it's possible Westbrook would accept a veteran minimum deal, there's a much bigger issue at play: minutes. That's why he left Denver in the first place. He wants more playing time. And with New York's rotation already fairly locked in, it's hard to see where he'd consistently fit in. Even in a 10-man rotation, Westbrook's minutes would likely be limited to under 20 a night, and that's not the role he's looking for. The Knicks, meanwhile, are still in the market for another veteran guard. But they're clearly prioritizing players who bring size and positional flexibility, attributes that Westbrook doesn't check at this stage of his career. Any player joining this squad will have to be ready for a specific, sometimes reduced role, and not everyone is willing to make that sacrifice. That's where the Knicks are drawing the line. They need team-first players who can thrive in specialized roles. So if not Westbrook, who's still on the radar? According to Ian Begley, the team has kept lines of communication open with Ben Simmons throughout free agency. Simmons remains an intriguing option despite his offensive limitation. While he brings elite passing, defense, and size to the table, his inability to shoot consistently is still a major issue. On paper, his skill set fits well with what New York wants, but his lack of confidence in shooting turns every possession into a potential liability. Critics might argue that at a veteran minimum price, the risk is minimal. But it's important to remember that the Knicks didn't open this roster spot by accident. They negotiated a restructure with Gerson Yabusele's contract specifically to free up this space. That tells you everything. They want to maximize its value. Whoever fills it needs to be someone who fits this group both on and off the floor. That's not something they're willing to compromise on, even for a big name. As for Simmons, his market tells the story. If his overall game outside of shooting was truly enough, he'd have far more interest from teams across the league. But the fact that New York remains one of the few consistently linked to him shows just how cautious other teams have been. The Knicks aren't rushing to sign him either, but he remains in the conversation, which means they're still considering all angles. All of this signals a broader shift in how the Knicks are building their roster. It's no longer about grabbing headlines or adding star names for the sake of it. They're targeting players who know how to contribute within a role, stay ready, and bring something tangible to a rotation that already has its core locked in. It's a strategic approach, focused, disciplined, and tailored to the realities of modern NBA basketball. So, Westbrook won't be coming to New York. That's official. The team has moved in another direction, and the decision revolves around fit, not fame. Now it's just a matter of who steps into that final role. And if it ends up being Ben Simmons, it'll come with plenty of scrutiny. Either way, the Knicks front office is being deliberate, and that's a sign of a franchise that knows what it wants. The Knicks are clearly being strategic about how they plan to use their final roster spot. With that in mind, it makes little sense for them to bring in someone who could potentially create spacing issues or defensive concern, especially if that player isn't fully aligned with their system. According to Ian Begley, New York has reached out to other veterans still available on the market, including Chris Paul. While Paul would be an intriguing addition as a veteran guard who can manage the game and lead a unit, his preference to stay closer to his family on the West Coast makes a Knicks signing unlikely. Potential destinations for Paul could still include teams like the Clippers or Suns, but at this stage, his return to the East Coast appears doubtful. At the same time, the Knicks aren't limiting their options to traditional ball handlers. Despite the conversations around point guards, they remain open to adding wings or versatile players who can contribute in other areas. One name that continues to come up is Landry Shamet, and there's mutual interest in a reunion. While he may not be a primary ball handler, his ability to stretch the floor makes him a valuable role player off the bench. This shift in direction suggests the Knicks are prioritizing positional flexibility and depth over simply adding another guard. One player that checks all the boxes and continues to stand out as a potential steal is Chris Boucher. At 6'8" or 6'9", Boucher brings the kind of length and mobility the Knicks could really use. Having previously played alongside OG Anunoby, he already has chemistry with some of the current roster. Defensively, Boucher offers switchability and rim protection, while offensively, he can space the floor and finish in transition. Adding him would give the Knicks a much-needed boost in front-court depth and help them better prepare for the inevitable injuries that tend to hit their big men each season. He's the type of player who can cover positions 3 through 5. And in today's league, that kind of versatility is invaluable. It's also clear that the Knicks are making a conscious effort to increase size across the board. Their signings and rumored targets, Clarkson, Yabusele, and others, reflect that intention. They want a larger backcourt, more physicality off the bench, and players who can contribute without the ball in their hands. It's not necessarily about adding another playmaker. It's about building a tougher, more versatile group that can hold its own in any matchup. Given all of this, Russell Westbrook no longer fits what New York is trying to build. Even though he's available and still one of the most explosive names in free agency, the fit simply isn't there. According to Brett Siegel, the Knicks have officially ruled out signing Westbrook, with playing time and role likely being major factors in that decision. They're searching for someone who knows how to fit into a structured system and is willing to accept a defined role. That brings us back to Ben Simmons, who, despite his limitations, continues to draw interest from the Knicks. New York has remained in contact with Simmons throughout free agency, and their ongoing dialogue suggests that he's still on their radar. Even with his well-known issues as a shooter, Simmons' defensive versatility and size make him an appealing option if used in the right context. For the Knicks, it seems the focus is now on adding players who bring length, defense, and versatility more than pure scoring or playmaking. And whether fans agree or not, Simmons may ultimately land in New York if the fit feels right. What do you think of the Knicks' decision to pass on Westbrook? Do you believe they're heading in the right direction by looking for size and flexibility instead of another high-usage guard? Let me know your take down below. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Take care out there, and go Knicks!